All right, kicking off the Dotp Bowl. Maybe that's what we'll call it. It is the Dotp.Devils versus the Dotp.Tryhards team. I don't know if this is an official AD2L match, but it is certainly an important match for bragging rights, if nothing else. On the Devils, we've got Kairai, Kimbrel, Nameless Noob, Jekyll, and Dreadbeats. And then on the Tryhards, we have Siphus, Fafnir, Wazoo, Joe Schmo, and Mr. Blue. These are two very evenly matched teams, and I'm really looking forward to this game. I think it'll be a solid match. Both teams know each other well, not surprisingly. So, I mean, even just in this first set of bans, we see really targeted bans like in Winter Wyvern, and then Doom is just a good ban in general. Um, so that's, just a safe ban. Although, I know their team also plays a lot of Doom, but I guess they figured if they let Doom through when the enemy team has first pick, they probably wouldn't get it. But yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to this game. It's going to be, quite hype considering all bragging rights and whatnot between these two teams. Their constant rivalry, the many times they've played against one another. So let's see how this draft goes. I know, all right, Dazzle first pick, not giving anything away, nothing major. Very safe pick. I'm sure somebody plays it on that team. It's a very basic hero. I believe Kimbrel plays it, but it's also, Nameless Noob may play it. And it doesn't give much away, definitely, unless there's some gimmicky like Dazzle Huskar or Dazzle Axe. Huskar would kind of be a good ban, or they have to pick against and be concerned about a possible Huskar pick. I'm not sure if Devils play Huskar at all, but he's not exactly rocket science, and Huskar Dazzle is one of the most obnoxious, incredibly strong combos in the game. Alright, and Witch Doctor coming out from the Tryhards. Witch Doctor, good hero, does not give a lot away, similar to Dazzle, and he gives a lot of rune control if they're trying to pick up an Alchemist. He also gives a lot of lane dominance against duo lanes and tri lanes, although if the enemy solo offlanes against you, he loses a bit of his efficacy because there's less heroes to bounce off of. So, solid pick. Earthshaker being the second pick. Earthshaker, big Mr. Blue hero. This is a very solid duo lane, or duo support. Alternatively, they could offlane the Earthshaker, though offlane Earthshaker is not terribly strong against a tri-lane, which I shouldn't assume, but for the sake of argument, I will assume that it will be tri-lanes from both teams, or like duo lanes with a roamer. And so Earthshaker offlane, I don't know, I question the viability of that, considering even just Dazzle alone could harass them pretty well out of lane. But yeah, and Witch Doctor Earthshaker gives a lot of stun, of course, and then Earthshaker, he has the ganking potential, whereas Witch Doctor has the sustain potential with Voodoo Restoration. It's interesting they banned Darkseer, considering they have Earthshaker and Witch Doctor, who are both very good against Darkseer. Witch Doctor, because with Voodoo Restoration, you can actually allow your carry to pretty solidly subsist in lane, and Earthshaker in the late game, when a wall is up, you get the additional damage from Earthshaker ult on all of the illusions, which is a nice little thing to do. They could also just be annoyed. They could be trying to avoid annoyance, I suppose would be the better way to word it. Alright, and Rubik coming out. Both teams now locked in, well, the Devils, they are locked in for both of their supports, whereas the Tryhards they have some wiggle room with Earthshaker. But locking in both supports is a very questionable play, because it prevents you from picking supports in the future of your draft that would be necessary. So like Dazzle Rubik, they're both very squishy, so if the Tryhards picked, let's say, like some kind of nuker like Alina, which is still in the pool, that would be very strong against them, and they couldn't respond well to, like, let's say, if there was a Broodmother to come out from the Tryhards. Broodmother would be a crazy good pick. Oh, they banned Huskar. Okay. Like, Broodmother would be game-breaking against this Dazzle-Rubik support duo. So that's something to take into consideration. That said, if the Devils pick Broodmother, which is a top-tier pick for sure, I would be concerned, because Witch Doctor Earthshaker is in some ways a Broodmother counter, but he has to hit 6 first. Until 6, he's incredibly bad against Broodmother. And Witch Doctor is not very good against Brood at all, because Cask just bounces to Spiderlings that don't matter. So I would not. I think Brood is either a ban or pick hero, especially in this meta that is pretty Brood favored. That said, Brood, you kind of need a Brood player, so if neither team has a Brood player, then that's kind of a null point. Alright. And PL and Anti-Mage coming out. Bans. Maybe picking a Viper, I would not be surprised. PL is particularly good against Viper. And Viper is quite good with Witch Doctor Earthshaker. Gyrocopter coming out though. Gyrocopter, solid pick. I know that is a favorite of Fafnir. It's also a favorite of Jekyll, so it may be one of those block picks. And yeah, I mean, Gyro offers a lot to the team despite his nerfs. You know, 6.85 was not too kind to Gyro, but I think he's still a viable hero, definitely. His ult is less silly, but it's still really good for what it is. It lets you fight constantly. And this is a strong trio. And they banned two of the best carries against Gyro. PL, because after Flak Cannon, Gyro is terrible at killing PL illusions. And then AM is just good against Gyro because he flash farms against Gyro and then he can just kill him in fights. I'm interested to see what the Dotp.Devils opt to pick for these next few, or especially these next two. The fifth pick is, I wouldn't say less important, but it's less interesting a lot of the time. Because, I mean, they have to pick 3 cores here now. Like, unless they do some gimmicky Rubik mid, which, if they do that, I don't even... If they do that, they deserve to lose. Alright, Nature's Prophet coming out. Nature's Prophet is a favorite of Dreadbeats. They're almost definitely going to be off-laning Natures. Off-lane Natures offers a lot to the team if he can get levels and farm, ideally. But the problem he's going to have is getting that farm. And against Witch Doctor, Earthshaker, Gyro, I feel like he's just going to die constantly. Even if the Earthshaker's roaming, anytime he roams back to the safe lane, he's just going to, like, the 3 of them can just kill the Natures. They just wall him off. Gyro comes in with Flak Cannon. Oh, see, yep, they do pick Viper. And then Witch Doctor stuns. It's going to be wild. Alright, so like I predicted, Viper coming out. It looks like to be a Viper mid, I assume. I would be very surprised if it's like a Viper off lane. Viper, quite good against these 3. Dazzle gives him some problems because Shallow Grave is enough to save someone who is Viper Strike. But Rubik is, you know, pretty easy food for a Viper. And Viper's spells, if, like, alright, so Rubik can basically steal Viper ult whenever he wants, because that's Viper's only ability that he casts. That said, there are much bigger ticket. Oh, it's Vector pick. Oh, maybe this is some global strat. Maybe they're gonna pick like a Zeus last. Oh my gosh, that would be wild. I would not be surprised. Although Zeus matches up really poorly against Viper, so I don't think that's the play. But they could be trying it. They could think like, all right, let's just go global. But this Tryhards team is really good at 5-manning, so I feel like this global strat is not going to be very effective at all, provided they like all in on it. Which they may not. They may just think like, alright, well, Nature's Prophet's good, Spectre's good, and that's it. Leave it at that. So we'll see. I still think Brood is a really good pick for this Tryhards team. They could roam the Earthshaker, support Witch Doctor with Gyro in safe lane, and then Viper and Viper mid, and then Brood off. I think that has a lot of potential. The Devils, they have to pick their mid. Wind Ranger is banned. Kairai likes Ember Spirit a lot. Ember Spirit's in the pool. Storm Spirit's in the pool. Storm Spirit got nerfed a lot, as we know, but a lot of people have been saying that he's still pretty viable as long as you can get to that mid-late game without being like super underfarmed. Shadow Fiend is still in the pool. Shadow Fiend, a very strong hero still, and he's quite... I believe Kairai plays quite a bit of Shadow Fiend as well. That said, I think Shadow Fiend would be a bit greedy, considering they already have a Natures and a Spectre, and Natures naturally consumes a lot of the map, and Spectre needs to consume a lot of gold. So I think that might be a little on the greedy side, especially considering the Tryhards Snowball lineup that it looks to have. So a good example of a reason why you don't pick 2 supports in the first phase generally is AA would be quite good against this comp, and they play AA. Kimbrel is quite the AA player, but they can't pick AA because they can't fit into their comp. Because AA ult would stop the Snowball, it would stop the Witch Doctor heal, and that would be a great pick. But obviously, when you lock into supports first round, you cannot do stuff like that. And Viper is naturally going to be buying a mech early, so, I mean, it is what it is. But I would warn against picking 2 supports in your first phase. Generally, I think 1 support and 1 core is the way to go, because that leaves your options open, and if you pick like your off lane or something, or even your carry, if you're picking something contested, highly contested, or something that's hard to counter, that's a very safe thing to do in the first phase. Let's see, we're running low on reserve time, 25 seconds. I wonder what their last pick's going to be. Oh, Night Stalker. Alright, Night Stalker. Night Stalker, I assume, is going to be the off-lane Night Stalker, not the support roaming Night Stalker. Night Stalkers are really popular here right now. He's quite good against Natures. He's pretty good against Spectre as well. I'd say very good against Spectre, actually, because of all that early aggression. Rubik and Dazzle, I mean, they're a pretty solid support duo, but they're also pretty easy to kill. They're very low HP, and I mean, Rubik's not going to be investing points into Null Field either. So Night Stalker has the potential to just ruin the Dotp.Devils lineup. Also, Spectre is a super greedy hero, and this aggressive lineup from the Tryhards offers a lot to their team in way of just abusing this dire lineup. Let's see what their mid's going to be. I think Shadow Fiend is the... I wouldn't say it's the pick, but I feel like it's the Kairai pick, if that makes sense, because I know that's a comfort here for him. Ember Spirit is really weak. I shouldn't say really weak, but he's weak against Night Stalker for sure, because Night Stalker just silences him and he can't Remnant away safely. And Ember Spirit's way too greedy, considering they already have a Spectre. Oh, Necrophos. Alright, I like this. I mean, Necrophos is a pretty ADSy hero. I'm not... I'm glad I'm not in this game, let's put it that way, because god, that hero. 30 extra seconds on every death. Alright. Now, let's get on with it. We'll do the introductions. We have the Grand Wazoo playing Gyro in what looks to be... Well, they're probably just going to go for top rune. Fafnir on the mid Viper. Cyphus on the support Witch Doctor with quite the hat and a monkey. Mr. Blue on the offlane Night Stalker, and Joe Schmo on the Earthshaker, who will be roaming, it looks like, with that Smoke of Deceit. Alright, it looks like they're gonna maybe gather Smoke and 5 mana up top rune. Alright, and on the Dire side, on the Dotp.Devils side rather, we have Rubik played by Kimbrel, Kairai playing the mid Necrophos. Let's see, who else? Jekyll is going to be playing the hard farming Spectre that hopes to get off the ground. Nameless Noob will be playing Dazzle, and Nature's Prophet will be offlaning, played by Dreadbeats. A nice courier, unusual. Let's see the courier check. Alright, this courier sucks. Alright, let's see. Do they First Blood Jekyll? Okay. They totally First Blood Jekyll. He is super, super dead. That was a successful smoke by all measures. And that's really, you know, when you have a coordinated team, smoking like that makes for a good play. Kimbrel might be looking to cliff somebody, but honestly I don't think it's worth it. I think that's a little ambitious, especially with the weird cliffing rules, because like there are certain cliffs that you cannot cliff people on, and they have vision here. Rubik also started with a mango. That's interesting. I feel like if he got a mango, he didn't need 2 clarities, because now he has no stats. He does 49 damage. Like his hits are just going to bounce off of this Night Stalker. Night Stalker has a stout shield. He's going to be blocking like what, 16 damage, 8 damage rather, 50% of the time. Like this guy's going to do no damage. That's before his armor too. He has a bunch of armor, 5 armor. All right. So we'll see how that lane goes. This tri lane, I think he should be able to just get XP. Spectre also mango. Let's see this mango check. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 mangoes. You're right. Mid lane should be pretty solidly dominated by Viper. We'll see how this goes. Fafnir plays quite a bit of Viper, and Viper has that nice little extra magic resist against the Necrophos. Necrophos is not known to be one of the strongest laners. He's not bad in lane because of the Death Pulse buffs, but at the same time, he definitely could be stronger. And that's why oftentimes you see him in the dual lane. Joe Schmo in the mid, in the bottom lane, regular supporting for now. He may opt to roam soon, or rather, he should opt to roam soon. They definitely need to be pulling though. This equilibrium This Nature's Prophet should be getting nothing out of this lane. And as of now, he's getting quite a bit. And he has this nice handy little ward. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, let's pull up some last hits and denies. Spectre leading with 9. It's not surprising. Night Stalker is not going to be able to contest him that much. Night Stalker tangling up. He's going to have some problems, but I mean, as long as he gets levels, and then when it hits 4 minutes, he's going to be able to walk around and just murder people. Hopefully. Nameless denying. And mid is slightly won so far by Necrophos, just by a couple CS, few CS rather. That Heartstopper is going to be pretty annoying. Fafnir is going to have to either get an early headdress or just go bottle. Some Viper players don't like bottle, others do. I personally like bottle. Because if you're getting a mech, you need the mana. And, oh, Joshmo, he does not have stun yet. Or he does not have his E stun yet. Cask Restoration on this Witch Doctor. I feel like Maledict level 1 is a really garbage ability. It's one of those things that it's a really good ability, but the first level or two are really, really atrocious. Like, if you have level 1 Maledict, there's actually like no point in using it, almost. Like, it doesn't even do enough damage to take off refraction charges. That's how minimal it is. Nature's Prophet's getting a lot out of this lane. If we just look at the hero level, he's level 4. He's out-leveling the Radiant offlaner, the Night Stalker, although Night Stalker is about to hit 4 with this nice little influx of creeps. He did block. Does this show? No, it does not show. Although his block's about to fade. They blocked a little early. Bottle coming out for Kairai. Fafnir, however, it looks like he's just going to be rushing the headdress. No bottle. We'll see, we'll see. Dreadbeats. I feel like anytime Dreadbeats goes past this, like, the river point, he is killable for this Radiant team. Like, if Radiant had a ward here, they could just constantly be killing that guy. That said, they may look to kill Night Stalker, but it's not going to be successful. Joe Schmo, he does not have mana to do anything. He really did not need to TP. I feel like Earthshaker is a really solid Mango carrier, for the record. And it is nighttime now. Oh, Necrophos killing Viper and getting away with a good bit of health. Especially considering Sadist is going to heal him up so much. It's unfortunate. And now he grabs a bounty rune, so he's just he's having a field day with these runes. Rune singular. He keeps sending in these creeps, these treants, I suppose, to block. And maybe he's going to pull the creep wave out of the lane. We'll see. Gyro has level 2 rockets. This is an interesting build. It's not one you see very often, because generally Gyro just goes flak cannon and what's it called, rocket barrage. But I mean, I don't know. I'm of the opinion that homing missile is a very underrated ability in pros and high level Dota. I think, like, the big problem is you can't use it often because it costs so much mana, and a kill only does so much. But that said, I think, especially in a lane like this guy, he has 1 tango left. He is just naturally really easy to pressure because his stats are not conducive to man fighting. And that said, I feel like this bottom lane, or this Radiant team, could be killing him over and over again, and they're just not. That said, it looks like we are going to get a kill up in the top lane. Oh gosh, maybe not. Shallow Grave coming out. Viper killing Necrophos in the mid lane, though. Viper narrowly getting away. That must have been quite the fight. And Nestor does kill Rubik. Shallow Grave only lasting for 5 seconds. They carefully wait it out, and they use the range on Night Stalker from Void. Oh boy, and Nature's Prophet dies. This is what we were talking about. Nature's Prophet offlane, not the strongest thing. Especially, I mean, if you just chase him down once homing missile connects, and he has no boots, right? Oh, he has boots now. Once homing missile connects, that's a bunch of damage. That's potentially 250 damage. And then on top of that, you have rocket barrage isolating him down. And now he has ult. Like, this is not going to be pleasant. This actually, alright, so Gyrocopter Ags is not something that people get often. That said, I think Earthshaker on the top lane. This is some heavy diving done. That's a 1-for-1. Oh, potentially not a 1-for-1. He's super dead. That is unfortunate. They dove a little far. Alright, so, tangent. Gyrocopter Ags, I feel like is going to be actually good this game. And I know nobody buys that, so you got to hear me out. But this what's called Nature's Prophet Rat is not going to matter. If you have Gyro Ags against Nature's Prophet Rat, like, you just, like, alright, so let's say you're 5-manning top, you're trying to push, and Nature's Prophet does typical Nature's Prophet things. He splits the creeps, he pushes your bottom lane, and let's say he's pushing you equally, and he's going to take a tier 2. You just Gyro ult, all his creeps are dead, and he has to stop pushing, and like the entire point of the hero split pushing is nullified. So I think that's totally the play. I highly doubt they're going to get Gyro Ags, but I do think if they do, I would be impressed. I'd be a happy man, because Gyro Ags, not as bad as people think it is. The problem is it doesn't fit into his build real well, because Ags is not good stats, and he is a hero that desperately just needs to have a lot of stats, a lot of agi, and a lot of strength. Let's see what kind of last hits people are getting. Alright, Spectre is doing actually quite well, all things considered. 43 and 5, whereas Gyrocopter also doing well, he has 40. But I'm more surprised because Spectre is much more contested in lane, all things considered. That said, Gyro does have kills, and Spectre does have a death. Joshmo underestimating. Oh boy, he just wastes a ton of mana. Alright, Kimbrel gonna go around warding. Almost no wards up on the map. Just one. Nope, no two. These are redundant. This ward, and that ward are redundant, but they're not so redundant that, like, it's a problem. But, like, I feel like this ward could be here instead, or it could be, like, I mean, that's fine. Maybe this word would be the one to change. Maybe this word should go there. But, I mean, that's, you know, that is what it is. Both are pretty fresh words, too, so that's going to be up for a long time. That really protects the top lane, though. Like, even if they're redundant by just a bit, that's kind of nitpicking when the end result is you have a very safe Spectre. Although, maybe a lane ward would be a little more helpful. Mr. Blue should just be bullying the Spectre, though. The Spectre really, like, has no legs to stand on. No pun intended, because she actually doesn't have legs. Looks like this bottom tower is going to go down soon. Alright, so here's where you see, like, this weakness of this homing missile build, is he can't actually, like, use homing missile as, like, a harassing ability, because he's never going to have enough mana to use call down. Like, right now, let's say, he uses homing missile once. Okay, perfect. He's working perfectly with my example. He uses homing missile once. Now he has one call down, and then he has one use of rocket barrage. No, generally in a fight, you want to have at least 2 uses of rocket barrage. Jekyll, let's see, not fair in 2L. Wazoo killing Rubik in the bottom lane, using call down, I assume. Yeah, using call down. That actually kind of showed Jekyll. Did he buy a Kwang Blade just for this? Oh my gosh. But Jekyll does have enough mana to get out. And it's not nighttime anymore, so... Oh boy, but it can be nighttime. Make it nighttime. Make it nighttime. Oh. They should have dove him. Boy, and Necrovos using the ultimate counter to Viper. TP scrolls. TP scrolls are quite good against Viper. Viper going back for the Aquila. I feel like that's a little redundant. They already have an Aquila on Gyro. I'd almost consider getting Guardian Greaves on Viper this game. Which sounds weird. And it is weird. And I don't honestly think it's the best thing to do. But it would be interesting. Because their team has no other Guardian Greaves carrier. And the Guardian Greaves would just help him. Oh, a nice rotation. Oh, but not nice enough. He's going to die and he's going to have like 1 billion hours of extra death. Oh, but this could be a turnaround kill. That said, Gyro has no mana, and he may just die. Oh, gosh. This is not ideal. This is not what they wanted when they rotated him. He dies to Heartstopper. Oh my gosh, brutal. Alright, very nice rotation by the Dire team. The Dotp.Devils rotating Rubik, and of course the global presence of the Nature's Prophet really shining through. Nature's Prophet's going to have a Midas soon, which is going to compensate for all the money and farm he lost earlier. Spectre, well, we'll see if Spectre dies anymore, but I feel like Spectre's going to have a really nicely timed Radiance at this rate. Witch Doctor, not going to die. Oh, okay, I lied. He is going to die. And that Necrophos has his mech. They should just be 5-manning, or 4-manning, while Spectre farms somewhere. And, AA also would have been a good pick for the Radiant, all things considered. Rubik uses a Mango when he has clarity on him. Nature's Prophet, 75 gold from a bounty rune. Generally one would think, with the Elk in the meta, I just expect people to be getting hundreds and hundreds of gold every bounty rune. Too many Elk games. Got a pause coming out. Alright, let's see some net worth, shall we? Alright, Gyro's sitting at the top, 5,500, but then the next two are pretty close on the Necro and Spectre. Spectre, of course, her net worth is all liquid. She doesn't really have any actual items. She just has, you know, the handy-dandy Mango and some boots. But, I mean, once she's close to Relic, she's going to have a well-timed Relic, and that is going to be a problem. They're okay at dealing with the Spectre illusions between Flak Cannon and even in the late game, Earthshaker ult could work in their favor if they're Spectre ulted. That said, the Spectre ult, if they use Spectre ult to initiate, more or less, this Earthshaker's going to have a really hard time blinking into a fight. Alright, and they 4-man, 5-man even, to get this top tower down. Making full use of the mech. We see the mech come out for the Radiant and the Dire. However, the Radiant 5-man down a top tower, whereas the Dire 3-man down a mid tower. Spectre getting inching closer and closer to that Radiance, or that Relic, with no aggression against her in sight. This Night Stalker has not paid off as much as I think they'd like. The first two nights, I mean, what, he's... Oops. First two nights, he is 2-1, so, I mean, he's not doing badly, by any means. But I think when you pick a Night Stalker, you expect a little more, but the rotations from this Dire team have been excellent, so... It is what it is, right? Necrophos going for the Guardian Greaves early. I like it. I also kind of like early travels on Necrophos, but maybe this isn't the game for that. I don't think we have to worry about it too much, all things considered. Gyrocopter is going to be dead for a while. Oh no, he's not going to be dead for a while. He is going to be... Oh, he's not dead. Alright, that is... He should die, right? There's no way he lives. Yeah, he's super dead. Okay. But he's not dead for an extra 30 seconds, so at least there's that. Right? Silver lining and whatnot. Alright, and all the while, Witch Doctor and his 3 compatriots taking down the mid tower. Mech is still up, too. Having the mech up after a push is significant. Because one would think, oh, well, you're pushing, you gotta use the mech to push. But that is not the case. Fafnir needs a pause. I'm sure it's tactical, these filthy cheaters. Witch Doctor, pretty low on this net worth chart. Yeah, not quite as low as apparently all the other supports, but he does not have much. He does have quite a few wards, though, and wards are nice. Earthshaker not going to have a blink until what looks to be like 20 minutes. You know, it is, you know, it could change a lot. And Rubik and Dazzle sitting right at the bottom, very poor, which is not terribly surprising considering how greedy their 3 cores are. Necrophos just naturally consumes a lot of gold because of Death Pulse, and he wants to get kills for Sadist. Spectre, you know, being Spectre, he has Relic money. It's a well-timed Relic, 14 minutes, that's a big deal. And Nature's Prophet, you know, being Nature's Prophet, he's just going to take a lot of stuff. He does have his Midas now.
unpause without saying G. Not very professional. Oh, that was quick. A quick, very painful death for Rubik. I'm sure he died screaming. Oh boy, Kairai walking right into this team. Quite tanky though, considering his mech and the fact that he's Necrophos. But that's not gonna change anything. He's super dead, and it should be a tier 2 for this Radiant team. It's interesting that they're getting these kills when Gyro is not even attending the fight or the push. Factory still has mech up. Oh. Kimbrel, maybe he could have defended himself, but he was probably dead anyway, let's be honest. He just got nuked down and he was silenced. Alright, so let's see, what do we think Viper's next item is going to be? I'm pretty confident it's going to be an Aghanims. There's the potential for like a Manta, or something like a Sage and Yasha, or some people just go straight Butterfly, which I think is really weird, but I've seen it in pro games, so it must not be that bad. Gyrocopter is going for the Sage and Yasha early fighting build, though. I think that's makes a lot of sense, because their comp is based around like just 5-manning and pushing, and at least getting all the outer towers with this mech. Alright, Kimbrel apparently being thrown under the bus by his team. Alright, I won't all chat. I was gonna all chat, but I'm gonna restrain myself and be a good caster, right? Okay, but yeah, so Gyro gonna do an early fighting build. This is a good bit of net worth too for this team. All the while though, Nature's Prophet will be just ratting away bottom. Again, man, I would be so excited if Gyro was to go Sage and Yasha into Ags. I would actually like make my day. I feel like that's totally the play. If this Nature's Prophet becomes a problem, which he looks to be becoming a problem, that's not proper English. Oh boy, that said, they are just gonna 5-man down mid. Cyphus dying to Nature's Prophet ult. I mean, they're looking to just 5-man down mid, and I mean, they got a bunch of tower damage, but they back off after they know when they're done. They probably were at their limit of ability to push. Night Stalker trying to kill Nature's Prophet, but not working out. It's a sad day when you miss both your CS. It's alright, nobody was watching that, it's fine. Alright, Gyrocopter, his Aquila is not activated. However, the Vipers is, so we're not going to complain about that. Nature's Prophet's going Ags. Alright, so recently we've seen thanks to our Lord and Savior Admiral Bulldog, we've seen an uptick in Radiance builds, Aghanims, Refresher, Octarine builds. Not in that order, it's usually Ags, Octarine, Refresher. This is a build that is just supreme rat. Right when these items came out and the Ags upgrade was added, and I believe it was buffed as well. This patch, right? It was added last patch and buffed this patch. People were theorycrafting this build, but then not actually doing it. And people were like, oh, it's not good because you can't micro all the treants, yada yada. But recently, we've seen a ton of Nature's Prophets doing all of the Octarine Ags builds. Just like a real pro match. Very true, very true. Alright. And it looks like they are just going to do the plan. They are just going to 5-man / 4-man down mid, and then now they're going to do it to bottom, and then later they'll do it to top, and they're just going to take all these outer towers and deny a lot of farm to the Radiant team. They have a greedy lineup, so if they just take over the jungle, it could present a lot of problems net worth wise to the Dire team. They're very demanding, right? Spectre needs a bunch of items. This Ags Octarine Refresher build on Nature's Prophet is a build. If you just have the Ags, it's notably worse than Ags Octarine. So he's really going to need to invest. Nobody picks up the Bounty Rune. Who needs that anyway, right? They are going to get this top tower, but they're trading it for the tier 2 bottom. And I would much rather have a tier 2 than an enemy tier 1. And we'll see. Do they all have TP scrolls? Nature's Prophet, irrelevant. He can globally TP. 2 people down here. Necrophos also has a TP. Oh boy, that was a really nice stun. Let's see. Oh my gosh, this could be a lane of Rax, honestly. All right, they don't fountain dive. They wanted to, but they don't. But this is at least a tier 3, and it could easily be a lane of Rax. Well, all right, the heal coming out from the Witch Doctor. My mumble is on, so hopefully you didn't hear that if you're listening to the VOD. Radiance just came up, but they should just finish this Rax and leave. Oh my gosh, the big Witch Doctor ult coming out. Kill the Rax. Alright, Mr. Blue, you got the right idea. Never mind, you're gonna dive. They're fine though, they got the Rax. Alright, that's a big win. Being Rax at 18 minutes sucks. Can confirm. But they do have a Spectre, so it's not the end of the world. Oh gosh, and Mista is gonna commit a little too hard on this and fall, but all in all, I think that's a really good trade for them. That really worked in their favor. Viper now finished Ags. Earthshaker has his Blink. That's a really big deal. And Gyrocopter is just about done with his Ancient Yasha. He has not been stacking Ancients with his Dominator, but, you know, such is life. Witch Doctor has finished a Glimmer Cape, which is the key item in this game against Necrophos. Well, really, it's the key item in any game against a Necrophos, except for, like, you know, a BKB. Or Lotus Orb. Lotus Orb, quite effective. Although you can still die if you're Lotus Orbed. But you can also die and kill the Necro, which is always good fun, you know. Why not make him suffer just as you do? Viper. Alright, Viper, he's a force to be reckoned with. This Aghanim Scepter, quite good. Let's see, I mean, this looks like we're going to have a little lull. All things considered, the Dire team is going to try to get some stats up, try to recoup their losses, and struggle with their new fate with super creeps in an entire lane. They're not mega though. Dazzle is going to get caught out here. He is in for a bad time. Alright, doesn't even get the Shallow Grave off. Gosh, Kairai is going to die now too. Oh man, this is a force to be reckoned with. Oh, that's a really nice ward. I like that word. Okay, error. Cool, I like those words too, right? Nightstalker off on his own, traveling around. He is also going to be going for Ags. Nightstalker Ags recently is very popular. Prior to now, though, a lot of people thought it was pretty bad. I was also in that camp, but granted, I play a very different kind of Nightstalker. Ags is quite good on offlane Nightstalker. I feel like mid Nightstalker is where it's weak, because mid Nightstalker needs snowball items like Armlet, Basher. I go Shadowblade. It's the full Batman build, but I mean whatever works, right? This Spectre, he does have ult, but it's gonna be hard to ult into all 5 of them. They do have all 5 of their guys up, but this Radiant team, quite intimidating. Joe Schmo, he lands an Echo Slam on very few people, but an Echo Slam is an Echo Slam, and a call down is a call down. That's practically a team wipe. That's 3 people dead, 2 supports, and their primary core at this point. Spectre really, like, she has Radiance, but, you know, Radiance doesn't matter much if you just die instantly to all this AoE damage and whatnot. Does she still have ult? She still has ult. This Witch Doctor heal, though, quite significant. Oh boy, that was a really nice intro into the fight by Joe Schmo. Not going to matter too much. Dispersion, good ability. That's 2 lanes of Rax at 21 minutes. A commanding win by the Radiant team, the Dotp team, the Tryhards rather. Or I suppose it's just the Dotp team, since there's only 2 Dotp teams. Alright, I mean there's really, not to be overly negative, but there's very little this Dire team can do against being double raxed. They need a miracle. Because I mean the thing is, their Spectre, if Spectre had like a Yasha or an ultimate orb, and like had some foreseeable significant gains in the future, I think that would be significant. But this Spectre, 1300 gold, Radiance, Power Treads, still has a mango, of course. I don't think I mean, she's definitely not in fighting shape, let's put it that way. And Necrophos has pushing items. Like, he has a mech and arcane boots, which, I mean, he's trying to get Greaves. But all things considered, it's not like he has fighting items. Like, if he had Treads Dagon, even Treads Dagon mech, which, granted, that would be a bit more net worth than he currently has. But, I'm not sure how the Dire team comes back from this, if at all. I mean, they're going to finish this Roche, and, I mean, what really do you do? You can barely kill these guys already, and now they have an Aegis as well. Earthshaker going uphill to secure, just in case they try to invade. They're not going to, though. I'm a little, I don't know. This Necrophos pick, I feel like, was a little lackluster. He really did not fare well in the lane against Viper. And then, even after the lane, so they went mech rush Necrophos, thinking like, alright, well, we're going to 5-man. But when you have a strat like that, you got to think, does our 5-man beat their 5-man? And A, they have an Earthshaker. So you're going to 5-man into Earthshaker, Blink, Echoing, or even just walking in and Echoing. And it's really hard to 5-man against Gyrocopter Calldown and Witch Doctor Ward when your team does not have very many stuns. Oh gosh, and a big calldown coming out. Gyro going ham. And he's going to do quite well for it, because he does have that Aegis. So, I mean, 2 people dead from the Radiant team. 1 person dead. Oh, poor Night Stalker. Fafnir just gonna clean up on this Viper. Oh my gosh, and Siphus with the ult, Witch Doctor ult. That was wild stuff. A solid Game 1 performance by the Dotp team. I feel like this game did not go as well as planned for the Dotp.Devils. I think, again, I mean, I feel like picking 2 supports first phase is not ideal. And then the lanes did not go as planned. I'm not sure if it was like a team draft or if it was a unilateral draft by the captain, but I think that was a core problem just to start off the game, even before stuff got real bad and like the game actually got off on full BM fountain diving. Oh no, not full BM, just half BM. Gyrocopter. Let's see, poor Siphus is gonna get killed. Oh gosh, he should have glimmered himself. Vanguard on Spectre. Good item, but it's too little too late. This game is super over. Why are we still in it? Good luck getting creeps, Nature's Prophet, when these are mega creeps. It's gonna be hard to kill those with your ult. Alright, well, you know. I think next game they're gonna ban Viper. Viper, definitely a problem. Viper, you know, we talked about it in the podcast recently, but Viper is the lane dominator. And this is really not... Oh gosh, Joe Schmo almost dying solely to a few creeps. Not the position you want to be in. Being megged at 26, not the plan. I really like this draft from the Tryhards. I do think this kind of came down to draft. And then, I mean, Spectre, like, had a pretty ideal situation. Like, Spectre had, like, an 18-minute of Radiance, give or take. And he got a Relic at, whatever, 14. Like, he was doing fine. But the reality of the matter was, like, even if you have that space and you get good farm, Spectre, kind of like other Radiance carriers, can't fight with just Radiance. When the other team has a bunch of items up on you. You know, it's not like you have Radiance and they have, you know, not much. Like, when he had Radiance, the other team had Sage and Yasha, they had a Mechanism, and everything. Like, this is not a situation you all want to be in. Night Stalker. I was a little down on the Night Stalker earlier, but it really paid off. Like, it really supplies the diving potential and the aggression. And then once they had Aghanims, I mean, obviously this game was pretty over by the time you had Aghanims. But if that wasn't the case, then their pushes would be even harder to invade if Night Stalker Ags was giving them vision of any and all initiation. Another important thing is the Dotp.Devils have no team fight. They have Spectre ult, and that's about it. Well, that is almost literally it, unless they steal some team fight on Rubik. So I think that is a draft problem, whereas the Dotp.Tryhards, they have team fight from Call Down, team fight from Earthshaker, but yeah. Alright, so that was game one. I'm glad to be casting both these games, potentially even 3 games. I'm Racinity, and you know, whether you're watching this live or on the YouTube VOD, thanks for watching, and look forward to game 2, and again, potentially game 3.